Hey guys, welcome back.
This week's video is going to look a little bit different because today, February 26th, actually marks 1 year of us being up here on our property.
In this video, we're going to discuss some of the things we have accomplished this year, some of the challenges that we have faced, and plans for our future.
One of our biggest achievements this year was building the tiny cabin, and that way we were able to move from the camper into there. It's not perfect, but it's better.
Hey there, welcome back. Today's project, we're getting ready to build a dog kennel.
So we're out here working on the shed, which we kind of have a little bit to talk about with that. So originally the plan was, because we're in such a small camper, we were going to have an area for the dogs set up in here. We were going to get an extra bathroom set up in here, and then all of our stuff is basically still in storage. So we were planning to store everything up here, maybe even have like a closet area down here so we could actually get clothes instead of everything being in little bags in the camper. We kind of sat down one night and started talking, and we're like, we're building this really nice shed for the dogs. Maybe we should do something that we could actually stay in instead. That brings us to what we have added on. So we basically got this new section here caught up to what we already have done on this. So we're now, instead of referring to the dog shed as the dog shed, we're now calling it the tiny cabin.
We were able to get a garden established and started this year on our property. Another item on our list was setting up beehives, and we were able to set up 2 hives and get that started.
All right, so we're going to show you a couple of clips of things that we felt like really worked for us.
With the garden, one of the things we wanted was raised beds, and buying a better was not in the budget as of now in this year. So we took the materials we had on hand and did a DIY better, and it worked. It needs a little bit of modification improvements, but it did work good enough for the first year, and hopefully we can modify it to improve upon it this year. We're getting ready to make up raised beds in the garden instead of doing it by hand. I've made a DIY better. Hopefully save a few money, use some scrap materials and fasteners I had already on site.
We also had several projects that were going to be inside projects that we needed to stain things, and we wanted to find something that was going to be a little more cost effective, and honestly I just wanted to try it. So we did the coffee staining, and we felt like it turned out really nice. For all this, we decided to do coffee staining. So basically we just bought the cheapest coffee that we could find in the store, a big container of it. We brewed it, put it in this jar. This has been chilled, so it's nice and cold, and we just use a simple rag. So you just kind of put it on, and then when you first put it on, it'll almost look a little weird, and then as you go, the color starts to build and it just looks better and better.
One of the challenges with building our tiny cabin is the price of materials. Lumber at any box store or anywhere you want to find it is not cheap. So when you're building something new from scratch, it adds up in a hurry. So one of the ways we try to mitigate this cost was we found a local sawmill that their slab wood that they don't have a use for, we were able to get a trailer, actually a couple trailers load full of it, and with that we were able to make different items for the tiny cabin, for outside. But I'll find different ways to use that material, that the only thing we had to invest in it was our time and labor of picking it up, bringing it back, and the work of making it usable.
And it is definitely time and labor, because some of our projects we had scheduled to be done in like a couple of days, and it would take us well over a week to get the same thing done. So it is a trade-off. But we did decide that investing the time and the effort into it was well worth it, and I have to say I love the hickory countertops. They were well worth it.
with our countertops, we're going to try and make our own. We're going to use some hickory we have. We actually acquired this by accident. We stopped by a local sawmill to get some pine slabs they normally throw away. So we picked those up for some other projects, and they said, hey, by the way, we got some hickory here that has some splits in it. So the goal is to try to clean this up, cut it down to smaller boards to see if we have enough for a countertop. Here are some of the things on the list that became a big challenges and did not work out as smoothly as we had hoped.
One of the first things that I think we really figured out was trying to make a better plan for supply runs. Our area is in a geographical oddity, if you will, because we are 45 minutes from everything big. So if you forget something, or if you miscalculated something, or as he loves, when I change up what we were going to do, we end up having to make extra runs, and it can become a big time cost. So there were a couple of times that we found ourselves a little low on our supplies, and we ended up having to make an extra trip. So sometimes we try to work it around weather or picking up other stuff, so that way we didn't feel quite so dumb for having to make an extra trip in the first place.
As you can see, we have rough leveled the runners, and we can see how much the back corner falls off and how many blocks we need. I have rough measurements. So like always, buying a little building material at a time so I don't have to haul up a heavy load up the driveway or overbuy and return to the store. I'm short on blocking material, so we will be paused until we can get blocks, get halfway close. Then we will continue, get the base squared, get the base set up and built. So we're at part of the install where it's time to glue pipe together, and my glue is starting to go bad. Even though it's on the drain side and under no pressure, the last thing I want to do is put it together to have to tear it apart to repair a new install. So now we're on hold till we get some more glue. With any construction project, weather becomes a big factor. And for us, not having a dry workspace to store tools or supplies, working around weather became a big challenge for us at times. While sometimes we have beautiful weather and we can get a lot done, we may not have all the supplies ready to go. Or we get all the supplies and the weather delays us for a few days. And so that became some of the challenges that we had to work around, and became delays and push our schedule back.
If you've ever thought of doing a homestead or something similar to this, this is definitely something to keep in mind, because if you don't have that sheltered workspace, you could be doing like what we did, where there were days that we were up before the sun was up and didn't stop working until we could no longer see. And I can't tell you how many different holidays where we took a short break, but we worked through the rest of the day because it was good weather. So that's what we did.
So we have a lovely wall started. The second wall's built, ready to stand up. And the breezy day has turned into quite the windy day. So we went and got more materials because by 5, 6 o'clock it was going to be settling down. It is not settling down, so we have materials, we have people up, and we are waiting for the wind to calm down. So the last few days we've been dodging the weather, wind, rain, wind, some more wind and some rain, and possibly more rain coming. So once again, we are paused by the rain, which is minimal problem, but the lightning that comes with the rain with this is the problem. Safety first, we're waiting the rain out. We are getting some much needed rain up here, but with that, that's delaying our outside projects and staining. We want to take a minute to explain and show you how our driveway is, and we've been dealing with ice on it. You know, we have one vehicle set up with snow chain, so we only have one vehicle that can drive up and down the driveway. So at the bottom of the driveway, we have to change out vehicles, unload, pack into the other vehicle. So with that challenge, our materials and building projects have been centered around supplies we already have on hand and simple supplies that we can bring in to be building and doing some of our projects. With moving to West Virginia, we have learned a lot in the last year. There's a lot of new things for us. Bears in the area and on the property, whenever they feel like it, was something new for us to experience, and we got to see that as they found our bees. So when we set up our bees over here, one of the big questions we had, were we going to have a problem with bears coming by? And we did.
I think our most used phrase this year has been, well, I saw that going differently. And one of those things has been mechanical issues, whether it was his Lexus or the tractor. We have an older tractor and we have an older vehicle because we don't want the payments. But with that, you get a lot of maintenance things. And so we have had that come up. I'm going to tell you now, it will never be at a good time. It wasn't in a break time. It's in the middle of doing projects. So you can't just not fix it. You have to. and it became a bit of an issue for a little while and became a big source of
frustration.
Yeah.
Challenges.
Mm-hmm.
So we got our tank of water halfway up the driveway. Could have possibly got it all the way, but the driveway being slick, it's not worth the hassle. So went and got the tractor, turned the tractor around in the driveway here. The lift pump for the fuel decides to finally croak out. So now that tractor is stuck in the driveway halfway, our tank of water is in the driveway halfway. So we got a lot of stuff halfway.
We knew when we moved onto this property that one of the most important things to do was figuring out our water supply. You'll see that we're learning. We're getting there. We kind of have some things figured out and some plans for others.
So up until now, we've been using 4 totes, about 20 gallons total, filling up at stores, but in water stations, buying water that way for drinking water, dishes, anything potable water we needed. That's how we got it. Today, hopefully, if all goes well, we finally have a tote, and we'll go pick up about 275 gallons of water from our local municipality water plant. A lot cheaper, a lot easier, hopefully, as long as we can make it back up the driveway carrying the water. So as you can see, we made it up to the top of the driveway with a water trailer in one piece. Yesterday, the driveway was still a little wet from the rain. We left the trailer halfway up, but today was a little bit of a drier day with rains coming. We were able to go down, make some adjustments, let some air out of the tires, and able to drive it back up today.
With this water that we've got picked up, which we just drove to the closest city and we're able to get them to fill this, 275 gallons. We're using this for dishes, showers, doing our laundry, just things like that.
So our rainwater collection right now, we use it when we need water for the garden or any of our plants. We're also using it for flushing the toilet. A power supply is also very important for any home or homestead. There's multiple ways to do this. Some people do nothing but hand tools. That wasn't going to fit for our needs and timeline. So we went with a simple option of just getting a generator and having that for power. But that comes with challenges of now you have to keep it supplied with fuel. With the generator is very simple and straightforward. You have supply it with fuel, crank it up, and you have the power you need. While it's not the long-term goal we have, it fills the need for right now and is relatively simple to use, other than the challenges of, hey, we just ran out of fuel, we need more fuel. As you can see behind us, we have a new generator in the box.
We had some issues with it not cranking up, and he was having to go out and pull start it.
The electric start wasn't working properly.
So basically we had an extended warranty on it, so we called them up. Actually, he called them up and they said, bring it down and we're going to give you a new generator. Although we feel like we got a lot accomplished this year, we definitely have some bigger plans for next year and a lot of improvements we plan to make.
One of the things we look forward to doing is exploring our 32 acres, give or take, with the cabin
Mostly established.
Yeah, mostly established.
I mean,
so therefore we want to do a lot more exploring the property, and we plan on taking you along with us as we explore all the different corners we have.
yeah, I mean, this year we got so much rain, we actually found out that we have a big waterfall on the property that we didn't know existed. So we're kind of hoping to look into some of these things. One of the big things I know for sure is on my list is our rainwater. So I don't know if you've paid attention watching our videos, but a lot of times we'll start something and it's kind of like a test run. We see if it works or if it doesn't work before we really invest too much into it. So we did one small rain barrel to collect rainwater in, and we realized how well that works. Right now it basically flushes our toilet, is what we use it for. And this year our goal is to start doing a lot more with it. We're hoping to set up things for like watering the garden, since that was kind of a massive fail last year with the drought situation. And we are looking into the health and safety factors of being able to filter this water and potentially use it for other things: laundry, washing dishes, taking showers in it, and maybe even drinking water. We're gonna see kind of how it goes and where it takes us.
Speaking of the water supply and improvements with that, one of the challenges we had this year was the garden and the drought. We did not have a water supply adequate here to supply the garden, so the garden really suffered. And while we still got some crops producing, the yield was minimal to non-existent.
Yeah, we basically had to abandon the crops that just weren't hanging on at all and focus on the few that we had that were doing things and try to make those go as long as we could. So we had a lot of zucchini.
So increasing our rainwater collection should mean that we can supply the garden as needed with water that it requires. And hopefully we won't go into a record drought, so it'll be a little bit easier to increase our yields for our garden.
One of the areas on our property that we really like is this space that's kind of behind us. So it's kind of a low area, and then we have the gorgeous views off the back. And we have some things we want and have planned. It's something we have talked about since we pretty much moved onto this property. And it looks like that's going to be getting done this year. As you can see, we haven't started on anything, but it will be coming. Make sure that you're subscribed so you don't miss out on that.
One of the improvements we're looking forward to making this year also is our power supply. While the generator is great and it's been a great primary source, the goal is to make it a secondary source of power, and that we can have more sustainable, renewable energy for our primary source of our cabin and doing projects. But we'll see what that entails and what that will end up being.
One of the things that we're definitely going to be getting done really soon is getting a barn built. Originally that was on our plans when we first moved up here, until we realized the camper just wasn't going to sustain us. So that's something that we're going to be getting put up pretty quick, and getting all of our tools and things into a much safer location, and hopefully giving us a bit of a break from weather issues. Up for debate for us right now, every time we go to Tractor Supply or Rural King, is the possibility of having some animals on the property.
Some?
Yeah. So, in an effort to not overwhelm ourselves, the goal is to kind of do it in stages. And we've talked about different things. We have both had animals. Our kids grew up with animals. We grew up doing 4-H and FFA projects and things like that. So this is not something that is out of our scope. It's something we've had, and because of that, we're trying to plan ahead to make sure that we don't bite off more than we can really handle this year, because it's easy to do, especially with cute, fluffy, adorable little animals. But if you guys have any thoughts, if you have animals or what you think, you know, some people love their goats and some people say that they're the biggest escape artist. Some people have suggested sheep, or, you know, obviously chickens are a huge thing usually for homesteads and things like that. So if you have any thoughts or suggestions, please put it in the comments and let us know, because we love getting the information from you guys and seeing what we can make work for us. We have quite a few things that obviously you guys know we have planned. And one of those things is going to be some big changes coming for the cabin. So a lot of the last couple of videos, you guys have pretty much just seen Larry working, and a lot of the reason for that is because I have been kind of in the background trying to make the plans and things like that. We kind of have our processes. I pretty much design things and lay things out, and then Larry corrects me as to what building materials work or won't work, and then I readjust, and that's kind of how things have worked. So he is kind of picked up with some of the other projects and has been working on that, while I've been drawing and sketching out how we're going to make some things work. So you're going to see some really big changes coming to the cabin and what we're hoping to get done with that.
Just for clarification, big changes to a tiny cabin?
Well, you know, it might be less tiny. Thank you guys for coming here and hanging out with us every single week, watching us on this property for the last year and seeing all the changes and the things that we've been doing. We cannot tell you guys how much we appreciate your support, your comments, your tips, ideas, things that you guys have had. We really do appreciate it. And we thank you guys, those of you who interact with us on our Facebook. We appreciate that. We kind of post a lot more of our personal things on Facebook, of some of the pictures and the different things that we're doing and stuff that goes on throughout the week for us. So if you're not on the Facebook, check in with that as well, because we love talking with you guys.
So thank you again so much for coming along with us while we work to achieve this adventure, and we look forward to see you again next week.
If you would like access to exclusive videos and perks, click the link below to become a member.